Welcome to HirePresence. I'm Pat Dewar, and I have an absolutely fantastic show for you today. I know that, well, let me ask it this way. Have you ever been in that situation where you're in an interview with a person of the opposite gender or opposite sex, and you're trying to make sure that you do all the right stuff, right? You ask the right questions or answer the questions the right way, and about 2/3 of the way through the conversation, you think that things are just not clicking, and then all of a sudden the interview ends fairly abruptly, and you're done. I mean, done. Into the equation, into the conversation. You're not getting the job, and it's over. Has that ever happened to you? In any selling situation, gender plays a huge role. My guest today, Judy Hoberman, is the author of the book Selling in a Skirt and owns a company by the same name, Selling in a Skirt. Find her at sellinginaskirt.com. And one of the things that I was really impressed is that Judy has done everything from being what I call Judy the Riveter all the way out to being the executive salesperson outselling most everybody in her company, to becoming the sales manager, the sales trainer, and developing programs that emphasize and use her ability to use her feminine wiles or her feminine skills that enhance her ability to sell to females, to males, doesn't matter, because she's got the secret sauce, secret weapon, the formula for helping you get more sales, or essentially for, in this group, in HirePresence, it really is about more the job you want, more interviews, more success with interviews. So with that, I'll go right over to Judy. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Now, we've done several interviews before, so it's always fun. I always love to just get Judy talking about the differences, the big differences between men and women in conversations. So when let's go into that. What do us guys do to screw everything up? But it's the way I always feel. But I know that it's not gender specific. It's learning the language. So lead us from here.
I think the biggest thing, Pat, is really that it's communication. It starts with as simple as asking the right questions and listening. There's lots of differences in the questions we ask, the types of questions we ask, when we ask the questions, but most importantly, following that up with listening. And there's huge differences, whether you're going for a position in a new company or whether you're going to sell somebody something. Huge differences. And once you find out what they are, they're basic. And people say, that's all it is? And that's all it is.
So when you're doing your consulting or your speaking and even the coaching that you do, what are some of the key components? What do you begin with in this trying to decode the gender algorithm?
Well, I usually tell a story about something that might have happened either to myself or someone that I know, and people start to giggle because it's happened to them before. But it usually starts with as simple as, let me ask you a question. Now, if I asked you a question and the answer was a yes or no answer, or it was a multiple choice answer, we're going to call that a male question. Because all you want from me is facts and figures. And you're laughing because you know it's true.
That's exactly right.
That's right.
You're very true.
That's right.
We are far less feelers. We're more of the left brain thinkers. I get it.
I just want to know what it is. Don't give me anything else. I want the beginning, I want the end, and I don't care about the middle. Now, the other kind of question, an open-ended question, is where I'm going to get you to talk. I'm going to ask you something that's going to make you think a little bit, and then you have to respond to me. We're going to call that a female question. Because with a female question, we want to paint somebody into that picture. How is it going to affect me and everybody in my life? That's how it all starts.
Okay. So tell us a story that you usually use to illustrate that point. I mean, I think in terms of, I get the yes, no. In your situation, what would be a quick story?
A quick story. I went to see a woman that was looking for insurance. I had a male new agent with me, and he asked me if I had printed out a quote before we got there, and I couldn't print out a quote because I didn't have any of the answers to the questions. And he was a little surprised because everybody else had a pre-printed quote. When we got there, I asked questions, she gave me answers, and then she put out a whole scenario of like 12 different things that she needed to know the answers to. And these were the what ifs. When I answered all the questions, I said to her, tell me why this was important. And she relayed a story about a friend whose husband had passed away unexpectedly. They had to sell their house, she had to go back to work, she had to put her kids in daycare. And so she didn't want it to happen to her. And what I explained to the male agent was, if I didn't ask the questions, I wouldn't know the answers. And I wouldn't be able to help her the way she needed to be helped.
Exactly. And what's so hard for a lot of guys to understand is the power and influence that women in our workplace, the women in our lives, have really in the decision. Because there's a lot of guys, and I'm one of them. I mean, I love my wife, and I do not want to take her off. Not that I would do that naturally.
Okay.
It could happen. My point is that I consider her opinion. I want to make sure that I honor her. And so it's really important. So these are the kind of questions that we're going to be talking about throughout this show is how can you stage the right question to get the right result? Because when we're trying to find a job, it's more important that you get to the next step. Because when you go into the first one, it's not the sale that we're making, it's every part of it. This is HirePresence. I'm Pat Dewar. We'll be right back.
The Weight Loss Surgery Channel is the world's first online television network devoted exclusively to the weight loss surgery community. Find the information, support, and guidance that can keep you on the road to success. The Weight Loss Surgery Channel, here for you on the web 24 hours a day, every day. Visit us at weightlosssurgerychannel.com.